So I went into a hearing. This was a while back on the custody case. They were trying to reopen it to see if they could take temporary custody away and place a permanent restraining order against me, you know, all the stuff. And I showed up for the hearing, but I didn't say a word the whole time I was there. And I waited till she was done because the only thing I didn't want to do was not contract. I didn't want to argue anything. I was just trying to stay focused so they couldn't continue to move forward. So what I did is I waited. As soon as she said, okay, you know, we're going to put a permanent injunction against you. They didn't have anything either on me, nothing. But as soon as she said that, she says, I'm going to grant a permanent injunction. You're to stay this many feet away from your daughter. If you go to a park and she's there, you better leave. You're not supposed to, you don't talk about this to the media. I mean, just all kinds of stuff. I stayed really calm, and the attorney on the other side was wrapping his stuff up, and he goes, oh, yeah, and by the way, I'd like her, you know, we want her to reimburse Michael for all my fees. And the judge said, okay, granted. I stopped, I turned and looked at the clerk right in her eyes, and I said, on and for the record, I do not agree, and I do not understand. And I turned to hurry, walk away. And the judge said, wait, you don't understand what? And I turned and I waved my hands because I'm very, I guess, motionful. I said, all of this whole court case, this whole thing that happened, I don't understand and I don't agree to any of it. And I turned and I walked out. And hot on my tail, I went down to the clerk's office to record something in the record. And right on my tail, on my honey's tail, was the guardian ad litem. And he says, now, come on, Venus. He says, we can talk about this. He says, maybe I can get you some visitation. You know, it doesn't need to be so extreme. Let's go back and talk to this about this in my office. Well, Honey was pretty nervous. He thought that they just did something really big. So he's like, please, let's go talk to him. So I said, okay, I'll meet you out in the hall, and we'll talk about something out in the hall. Well, come to find out, he didn't want us in the hall. He wanted us in his office. So we agreed. We go to his office, but it's not even in his office. It's in a recording room where there's all those glass windows around you. You know, they're camcordering. There's a door on the back side. So we go in there, and he cocks his head sideways, and he looks at me, and he gives me that look. And you know the look when you see it. And he goes, is it that you don't understand, or is it that you really just don't agree? And see, because at that point I hadn't agreed to anything in the custody case so far. So I waved my hands and I said both. I says, I don't understand and I don't agree. So I ended up hurrying and having to get out of there before they found a way to say that I agreed. And I went home and I wrote it all out. I addressed it to the clerk of the court. I wrote the whole thing out, what I had said, just, you know, basically to reiterate, and recorded it in the file, you know, got it put in the case number. 2 weeks later, I called the court, right, to find out if they executed that order to keep me away from my daughter, because so far they didn't have anything. And the clerk first answered the phone. I give her the case number, and I says, I just want you to read to me the last order that was executed by the judge. And she starts, and she goes, well, I don't really understand any of this. I'm going to put you up to the judge's clerk, and you're going to have to talk to her personally about it. So I said, okay. So she gives me the judge's clerk, and this lady, you could tell by the way she spoke, she was not happy. She answers the phone like this, yeah, what do you want? I'm not kidding. I was like, I knew she was mad. She wasn't making any money. I said, I just want you to read to me the last order that was executed by the judge for that hearing. So she starts reading it, and then she stops, and she goes, it doesn't matter because you didn't agree. Did you? And I said, no, like one more chance trying to see if I'll agree. And then she said, doesn't matter. Judge can't sign it. Doesn't matter.
Well, that's awesome. You held your ground like that.
That was my first confirmation that they physically from them after learning all those stupid rules, but that was my first confirmation physically 2 years ago that they really can't do anything unless they have you in some type of way agreeing, whether you knew you did it or not.
Yes, that's exactly.
You know, Carl.
You need.
I don't know.
Hold on.
I don't know a lot about this.
Let me say a piece of this first. The reason why they need your understanding is because the understanding puts you in a position of surety. That's why they
Right.
will try to get you to accept the name. You accept
Right.
the name, you accept the office. You accept the office, you become a trustee. What does the trustee do?
Oof. Holly finally came back from the hotel. That's great. He got me a card. Yeah, somebody was asking there at the desk, he said, about my show.
Oh, yeah. We spoke to him last time. You remember the guy when you see him?
Oh, okay. Big heavy guy? Big heavy bloke?
Yeah.
Yeah, so did he ever listen to the show, or? You know,
I don't think he did, but he told this new guy.
About the show? Oh, okay, that's funny. Yeah, no, so what's funny, no, I had to hang up on this, everybody, for a second. Yeah, like I said, man, it's funny. Why didn't somebody jump this lady when she said, the judge, she got him in court, and the judge was telling her she can't do this, she can't do that, run out of the park, you see your kid, leave the park, da-da-da-da-da. Does anybody else remember this lady saying this? I mean, why didn't anybody jump up and down? Why do I got to do this? You know, why can't somebody say, lady, wait a second, did some woman, not a judge, did anybody just keep correcting this woman, say, not a judge, because only God is my judge, or my fellow gods, you know, my fellow images of God, my fellow man, are my judges. This lady's a judge. Yeah, she's a judge of persons, you know, within her authority, you know, within her capacity to have dominion over. She doesn't have dominion over me. I'm a man, and that's my property. Why didn't anybody jump this lady when she said, well, the judge said, you see her in the park, get away from her, da-da-da-da. Why didn't anybody just say, oh, so you're trying to administrate my property? And the judge would be like, well, of course I am. I was like, good, well, then just place it in a form of writing and sign the damn thing, and I'll stay away from my property when I see it in a park. How come I got to come on 3 hours and 40 minutes into this thing, because Bali had to go get a hotel room for me, and how come I had to go on hold for like 40 minutes because I didn't know the passcode to get back on after 3 hours? His calling card dies after 3 hours, and he's got to fire it back up. So it doesn't cost me $1.29 a minute to call you guys and go over the same nonsense I've been going over for years. Is there some reason why somebody could have jumped her and said, look, wow, did you get a judge to say all that stuff in court? Did some women say that in court, that you can't do this and you can't do that and you can't and you can and you cannot and you can't do this but you can't do that? Did somebody try to administrate you? Did somebody try to tell you what you can and cannot do? What happened? Don't you people understand that all I talk about all the time is voluntary? You know, it's all compliance. And you want to be compliant, and you want to say, oh, yes, I'd be more than glad to volunteer for that. Yes, I'd be more than glad to serve you. I'd be more than glad to place me in the form of an order. It's passive compliance. Not passive resistance, it's passive compliance, man. Just do it. Just take the damn orders, carry out the damn orders, tell the judge lady, look, I think I saw my daughter in the park. No, you know what, as a matter of fact, I know I saw my property, and you called my daughter in the park yesterday. Oh, here's a bill for $1 million. I stayed away from her. Because, like I said, when a guy in Canada called up from British Columbia a week or two or whatever, don't you guys listen to these shows? And he called up just after Mother's Day weekend, that's right. And he said that some guy said to him, hey, you know what, I was talking to Carl, and he said that I was told to reappear in court, and I gave the judge, I said to the judge, oh, you want me to reappear in court? Lovely, I'll be more than glad to reappear in court. So he says, as long as you put it in the form of an order and you sign it. You know, so it's like, you know what, so I could tell my boss I'm going to, you know, be here next week or 2 weeks from now, whatever. Just put in a form of an order and sign it. So the judge put in a form of an order, he signed it, and then he came back and he reappeared and he gave the judge like a bill for $500. He said, what's this for? It's like, you ordered me to reappear. Here's my $500 bill. Pay me. And the judge was like, that's ridiculous. It's like, well, if Elvis Presley was asked to reappear for a one-night stand at the Hilton or down at Hawaii, he'd ask for $1 million. He'll reappear. He's more than glad to reappear, but he ain't doing it out of charity, the kindness of his heart. This guy likes fancy clothes and big cars too, man. Pay me. You know, so the judge said, I ain't paying you, boo. So the guy had a hearing over the matter, and the judge was ordered to pay the man. So then they had that big hearing in B.C., Mother's Day weekend, when all the judiciary got summoned to, a meeting, and all the mothers up there must love me. And they were told, you better be very careful when you're placing orders from the bench. So why did somebody just jump this lady and just say to them all the time, order me, please order me, Judge Lady. Oh, this lady's going on about it because she's in a conference room. The windows, they're recording me. I don't understand. I do understand. Just stop this bullshit. I mean, why don't you just beg the judge to order you? Say, please order me. So you're a woman, and, you know, I can understand you. We see a woman, man to man. I can understand what you're saying. Place an order with me. Order me to do something. and then just carry out the damn order. What if the judge ordered 300 Domino's pizzas for everybody in the courtroom? Domino's shows up and says, who ordered all these effing pizzas? And the judge said, oh, I did. And he's going to say, here, Judge, here's the bill. It's like, oh, no, I did it for the benefit of the court. You know, I'm not going to pay Domino's anything. And Domino's is going to get that judge hauled off to jail. Domino's is going to say, no, this guy's got theft of services, man. I produced a product. I delivered a service. I provided a service. Or I produced a product. This clown owes me. Don't just think you're going to call him up. Don't think you're going to place orders all over the place, Judge, here and there. You know, say, well, I got authority over Domino's. You know, I could shut them down. I'll pull their charter. I'm the judge in this county. I got pull. I know people. He's going to say, I'll screw you. You still ordered 300 pizzas. You pay for it. You ain't getting shit for free. You know, nobody demands fair and just compensation. So, yeah, like I said, man, I went on mute again, you know, but I just had to slow this thing down. It was turning into a train wreck. It was turning into some sort of a crybaby, hugaboo, you know, kumbaya nonsense, man. It's just some, you know, Nancy boys all screaming like, I can't solve my problems. So, yeah, Mr. Sensitivity, I'll unmute everybody again. So there you guys go. I was like, oh, my God. I was like, I couldn't wait for Bali to get back. But here you guys go. You guys can start whining again. But there you go. I unmuted everybody, so have at it. But just pay attention. Just realize when she's saying nonsense, man, you guys got to start reeling them in if they don't know. Maybe she just doesn't know because she never really listened that much. But come on, guys. Get a grip.
I wouldn't do that today. That was a couple years ago.
Okay, what it was. Somebody should have jumped the shit. I give you that. So why didn't you just tell? Okay, so where's the orders that you haven't signed in writing now? Where's the order saying they'd return the child now? Where's the order?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, no, I'm talking to the person who's been talking for an hour on the radio. I have no idea what your name is, but all I'm trying to say is simply, somebody's telling you your kids want it back, fine. Tell me to deliver my child to you. That's fine, not a problem. Order me. Why don't you just tell me to order you? In a form of writing and sign the damn thing, and you'll have the kid there in 5 minutes. What the hell's the problem? Don't you know how to carry out an order? And then they order, then you give them a bill for $5 billion. They say, here you go, one child, $5 billion bill, pay it. You'll have a hearing over the matter, and you'll get $5 billion. And then you get the $5 billion, so they'll just give you back your kid. It's like, anybody else wish to order this for me? And they'll say, oh, no. Anybody else wish my property of me? No. That's why I effing thought. Go ahead and just keep hiding out being Nancy boys all over the woods and keep screaming and squealing forever. All the law is based on contract. It's all contract law. It's all based on money. It's all based on a medium of exchange. You believe you have value. They believe you have something. Medium of exchange. It's money. It's all contract. You step into the public, it's all based on contract. Contract and breach of contract. Do you have jurisdiction authority over me? Do we have joined it? Yes or no? No, yes, no, whatever money gets exchanged, boom, it's done.